Hi guys, I'm filming this video because I've got a very serious kind of confession to make. I need to talk about something that I did about 17 years ago. Stay tuned to find out what it is. When I was at university, I shared a house with a guy. Let's call him James, mainly because that was his name. James and I used to mess around quite a lot, prank each other, and we used to do something called the cock block. For those of you that don't know what a cock block is, it's basically where one of you is doing quite well, chatting up a lady, and then the other person will just come in and ruin any chances you've had. Now, this didn't really happen to me very often because I was no good at wooing ladies, if I'm honest, mainly because I used phrases such as wooing. But a simple example might be where your friend is chatting to a lady, you'll just walk over and say, "Oh, by the way, mate, did that rash clear up in the end, or did you have to apply the cream?" And that normally ruins their chances. One time James managed to cockblock me in the most epic way imaginable, and to this day I still have to give him credit for it. I managed to convince a lady to come back to our house one time and back into my room. Now, we're getting quite hot and heavy, miracles will never cease, and it was getting to the point where I had to put a condom on quite quickly before she changed her mind. Now, I reached over to the little bedside table that I had and opened the drawer and got a condom out. Now, what I didn't know is some days, weeks or months before, I don't really know when because that drawer didn't get opened very often, James had swapped the condoms in that drawer, some standard size condoms, for some extra large condoms. Now, despite what you're thinking out there, sort of you lovely lady viewers, I'm not blessed. I know it's hard to imagine. You're sort of thinking, well, surely he's hung like an absolute beast. Now, I know it's hard to believe, but I'm not. So when I put on one of those extra large condoms onto my less than average penis, well, let's just say it looked like a badly wrapped fajita. Yeah, it was a lot like my cock had bought a onesie from Primark. Of all the things that turn women on, a baby snake shedding its skin isn't one of them. So unfortunately, that killed the mood somewhat and nothing happened. So James successfully cock-blocked me that night. So I had to get James back, and one night I did. All the stars aligned. We were in a club, chatting to a group of girls that we sort of knew. Friends of friends, you might say. James was looking like he was going to be quite successful with one of the group. They were kissing, caressing, and getting very handsy. That's probably another phrase that I used too often that meant I didn't get handsy. But anyway, I left the club, went ahead of them. I got back home and I found this girl on Facebook because I knew her name. And I managed to find a photo of her mum through her relatives and connections on Facebook. I downloaded a photo of her mum. Now, back when I was at university, the digital photo frame was all the rage. So I downloaded a photo of her mum, put it onto a digital photo frame, and stood it on James's bedside table. I could hear them getting back as I tried to desperately press my ear against the door while trying to temper down a semi. They stumbled around, kissing, caressing, laughing, giggling, got into the room. Then all of a sudden I heard an almighty scream. Now, unless James has got some weird technique that I don't know about, perhaps he takes a run up, I'm not sure. I can only assume she was lying down, kind of ready to receive whatever he may be willing to offer her. And she looked over, and then she saw her mum staring back at her. Now, to this day, I think the restraining order may still be valid. So James, I can only apologise that not only did you not get to play your favourite game of hide the sausage, that you've also not been able to visit your sister at our house for many years because she only lives a few doors down from this woman. Sorry, mate, but you know, what goes around comes around.